Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. Today we are cooking in the Instant Pot one of my family's favorite meals, Alfredo sauce, garlic cream sauce, whatever you want to call it. It is a creamy, garlicky sauce. And we're gonna do it with chicken. There is a super easy, I gotta get dinner ready version. And then there's the slightly fancier, I want the best of the best version. Let's get cooking. If there is one thing you learn from this recipe, it is cheese matters. This is the cheese you want to use, not the one in the green container that I admit I cheat and I have in the house sometimes just because it's easy, but real grated Pecorino Romano or Parmesan cheese, either one, you got to get the real stuff to make this work. I had been making it with the junk for a while just because I was lazy and it was cheaper. And then I made it with the good stuff again, and the wife was like, wow, why is the pasta so much better tonight? Because of the cheese. You got to use the real stuff. It melts better. It just has a better mouthfeel. It's just better. So that's what we're going to do. This is the most important thing. Real grated Pecorino Romano cheese. The nice thing about this recipe is there is like no prep if you don't want to. I am lazy and I use pre-minced garlic. I admit it, but I use garlic so much, so often, unless I'm doing something really special, I don't use fresh garlic. This works just as well. I like to use chicken thighs. I just think they have a better flavor, better texture. Overall, they're better than chicken breast. There's two ways you can do this recipe. The easiest way, if you want this super quick and fast, is to use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You have no prep to do, you just stick them in and you're done. Now, if you want to do the fancy method, I like to include the bones because I feel like it adds flavor as you cook the chicken, especially with the pressure cooking. It's almost like making a bone broth. And I like to use skin on chicken because then I can take the chicken out and I can crisp it in the air fryer. And then you get a crispy, charred chicken texture with your creamy pasta. And it's just way better, in my opinion. Now, if you don't have time to do that, grab your chicken thigh, throw it in the thing, throw everything in the pot, boom, bing, bang, boom, you're done. If you want to be a little more fancy, have a little more time, use the skin on. We don't even need to chop or prep these. We are just going to saute them in some olive oil in the Instant Pot. Set the Instant Pot to the saute high and coat it with a little bit of olive oil. You can get away with extra virgin with this one because we're not going that hot. It's going to be fine. Add your chicken, and this is garlic powder and onion powder mixed 50-50. We're going to season this up with a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of basil, and a pinch of salt. Go light on the salt because we're going to be layering salt in this dish as we go along. Turn these every once in a while and just cook them till they get some color and you start developing a fond on the bottom of the pan. Probably a few minutes for this to happen. Once they have a little bit of color, go ahead and pull them out. We're just going to set these aside because we will be using them a little bit later. See all that wonderfulness at the bottom? We're going to add to it and build on it with 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Get that in there and then just kind of stir it up, and you're going to start trying to break up the bottom of what's going on in that pan. Now, to really deglaze the pan, we are going to throw in a cup of chicken stock. This will go ahead and get every bit of that stuff off the bottom, and that stuff is flavor. We don't want to lose that. Now we'll toss the chicken back in the pan, and we're going to add a little bit more chicken stock, about 2 cups. You want to kind of just make sure that the chicken is all sitting in there like a nice bath. Yeah, we're going to go with bath on this one. Little extra black pepper, just for good measure. And now we add some butter. This is about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth. Just chuck it in there. On goes the Instant Pot lid. Make sure you are set to sealing. And now we'll pressure cook it for 8 minutes. Now that the Instant Pot's going, time to cook up some pasta. I'm gonna use some fusilli. You can use fettuccine. You can use any kind of pasta you want. I wanted to do something a little bit different. Not sponsored, but I do love this Di brand pasta. They're like an authentic Italian pasta. It just tastes better than the other brands, in Dad's opinion. Let's boil up some water. Nothing special here, just cook your pasta to your package directions, but subtract about a minute from whatever it says for al dente to keep the pasta a little bit firmer. Remove your pasta, but find a way to save some of the pasta water, at least 2 or 3 ladles full, or you can use like a little scooper like Dad has here. We are gonna throw our chicken in the air fryer for a little bit, just to crisp it up. The nice thing about using chicken thighs is it's almost impossible to cook them and make them too dry. It's time to work on our sauce. Set your Instant Pot to sauté, and let's kind of get this thing boiling, bubbling up. I'm gonna use a wooden spoon, which was never used for cooking by my Italian grandmother. It was used for other items, but I'm gonna cook with it. Time to add the star of the recipe. Start with about a hefty cup of your cheese. Get it right in there and start mixing it up. You want to try to break up the clumps and get it kind of just mixed into the mixture, aka mix. I grabbed out a whisk and started just breaking up the clumps and going with a whisk. Depending on how creamy or loose you want it, you add more or less cheese. If you want it super creamy, you can even add some heavy cream. You want to let this kind of reduce down to get to the thickness you want. Now's a good time to test it. Use a little bit of extra pepper. Maybe a little extra basil too. Cooked my pasta a little bit under. I only did 8 minutes. It says 9 to 11 on the package. It's a little bit firm, which we're gonna finish in the sauce. We're gonna add a splash of heavy cream in here. And a little more Pecorino Romano. Another little taste. Oh wow. That's delicious. If you get impatient, you can add a little bit of cornstarch with a water slurry to thicken this up quicker, if you don't want to wait for it to reduce down on its own. I make my slurry for my cornstarch with my leftover pasta water. It's about 2 tablespoons of each. We are looking for it to kind of coat your spoon. We are about perfect right here. We'll add in our pasta. Let it cook for about a minute. That's pretty much it. Let's plate it up. I'm gonna have mine with the crispy chicken that was done in the air fryer, my favorite way. Very. Super juicy. There's so much flavor in that chicken. The sauce is great. It's not too heavy, like a thick and chunky Alfredo. It's more like a little light garlicky cream sauce. That is delicious. If your sauce is too thick, add some pasta water. If your sauce is too thin, a little cornstarch, a little heavy cream. Boom. Adjust it to the thickness you like. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed the food. I'm going to finish this because this is my lunch. Thank you for watching. Dad may have a pretty awesome lunch, but Dad doesn't do outros. That's it. Bye.